Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. The Peace Dawa Media. Inshallah, I'm here with Sheikh Farouk Post. Halloween is coming over this week. Inshallah, this Halloween tradition is coming. It's just from
Tonight.
the United States tonight.
Yes.
Especially from the United States, and a lot of people in Africa already started adopting. Is it accepted in Islam to celebrate Halloween or buy some custom for your kids here or in Africa? Is it okay?
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Brother Khalifa, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless you, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala increase you in goodness for this wonderful question. Halloween and the celebration of Halloween, brothers and sisters in Islam, is something which the Muslims should avoid and stay away from. When we look at the history and the origins of this celebration that many non-Muslims and many people throughout the world celebrate, the origin of this Halloween goes back to the ancient Celtic or the ancient Celtic practices, in which they actually believed that October 31st was the end of the year, and they used to celebrate it. Number one, there are some traditions which talk about how it was the end of the year of harvest, that it was entering into the winter season and ending the fall season. Others say that it was actually a celebration of Samhain. Samhain was a deity which they used to worship on this day, and they used to also offer different offerings from the farmers. They used to offer different offerings as crops and many other animals and things like this to this deity. And then after some time, people actually started to think that it had something to do with the devils and the shayateen and the demons, that the demons would actually come out on this night, the 31st of October, which originally, after some time, they had called it All Saints' Day. All Saints' Day was on October 31st or November 1st. It got changed from those two dates. So, and as I said, they believed that the demons would come out on that night, and this is why we see the practices now where many of our youth and many adults as well, they wear disguises, they wear masks. So this actually comes from a tradition, is when the people, they would wear disguises and masks, so in case they hurt any of the demons or spirits and things like this, that the spirits or demons wouldn't recognize them. So they would wear these masks and walk around and look like skeletons and witches and all of these other masks and costumes that people wear. So the Muslim, the muwahhid, the Muslim who submits to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, should stay away from practicing Halloween. And actually, in some countries and in some areas, they actually do sacrifices. They do animal sacrifices on this night. They do human sacrifices. Sometimes they kidnap children on this night. And here in America, it's very dangerous, where you find that some people who are sick and demented, they actually put poison in some of the candies to try to kill the kids and kill the children. So, and at the same time, you find that, Muslim children are going around knocking on people's door, begging for food and begging for candy. This is not something that a Muslim should practice, and this has no basis in the religion, and the Muslims should try to avoid it as much as possible. And we know that the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, he was very stern into doing contrary to the practices of the pagans and the practices of the polytheists. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has blessed us with two wonderful celebrations. Eid al-Adha, in which we celebrate the Hajj, the pilgrimage to Mecca, and also Eid al-Fitr, in which we celebrate and thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for fasting the month of Ramadan. So, brothers and sisters in Islam, we should be very cautious in practicing some of these practices that we see many of the Western world is practicing. And you people in Ghana and all throughout the world, and especially in Africa, you people are blessed to have Islam. Do not be affected, and do not let the Western culture and traditions come in amongst your ranks and break up the unity of the Muslims and try to confuse all of you. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless you. May Allah increase you guys in goodness. And may we thank our brother Khalifa for the wonderful question. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. One more question.
One more question is it okay for you to accept a candy from some non-Muslims? Or is it okay when some people come and knock your door, is it okay to buy, to give them a gift for Halloween?
I would not involve myself in giving anything for Halloween nor taking anything for Halloween, because then you would be considered condoning it, approving it. So if somebody comes to your door and they maybe ask, they say trick or treat, or they're looking for candy, you advise them. This is your opportunity to give them dawah.
No.
This is your opportunity to give them dawah and say, we don't participate in Halloween because it is a celebration based upon paganism, based upon worship of the shayateen and the jinn, and Muslims, we only worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and we don't like our children to go around looking like little shayateen as well. So we would give them da'wah, and this is a great opportunity to call them to the oneness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and remind them. And if they're Muslim, then we remind them. We remind them and say, hey brothers or sisters, this is not from the practices of the righteous Muslims. You should try to leave it off and do not follow the practices of those who worship other than Allah and those who worship the shaitan. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us in the Quran to take shaitan as your enemy. He is the most dangerous enemy who can affect you. So how can we allow our children to walk around looking and wearing costumes that look like little jinns and little shayateen? May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us all. And jazakallah khair wa barakallahu feek. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.